Welcome back to the Sloppy Horror Podcast. I am your host and your scary movie companion, Christian Ramey. And back again for another week, clapping them cheeks, Mr. Ozark Mark. I'm looking down here at my friend Ozark Mark. He was sick last week. I hope he's feeling better. He looks like he's doing a little bit better, or at least enough to talk about a horror movie. Glad to have you back, buddy. What's going on? You all right down there?
Well, I'm still sick. My sinuses, like the past 2 days, I feel like I need an exorcism in my damn sinuses. I have blown my nose so many times in the past 2 days. It's ridiculous. Like, you know the old magic trick where people pull the loads of
like the string or the tissue shit out of their nose.
Out of their nose. That's not a magic trick. I'm pretty sure they just snort everything in their sinuses. There's so much shit in there. It just keeps going. But I don't know what it is, dude, because I started out with sinuses, then it went to fever, cough, and now I'm back to sinuses. I don't know what the fuck it is.
You know what I saw, dog?
On a weekend.
Real quick and briefly.
Huh.
You ever seen that guy on YouTube? I like this guy a lot. The cowboy Kent Rollins. He does all these old recipes, and he's like somebody's grandpa, dude. And he's like a cowboy guy, but he makes these badass recipes.
Yeah.
But he's talking about onions and how they got a lot of healing properties. But he was like, if you take a little bit of an onion and you put, because I've done this with just cinnamon before. Like put cinnamon and like just a little bit of boiling water and put my face above it, because I've heard that trick. And like obviously you just let the steam work up there and you just get that shit out. But he said you put an onion in there, bro, like the shit heals you. He said it's not a old wives' tale. He said that you put onions in your socks, like on the foot of your feet, you'll wake up, that onion will be black. He said it's not a. And he's like, and you'll feel way better. I was like, damn, dude. I was like, I lightweight want to try that, though.
I think that's an old thing where, like, with Mexican stuff, like they put an onion under the bed or something, and I don't know.
Like, he, like, will literally put it to your foot. Like, like those detox things. Anyways, yeah. I'm going to send you the video, but I really do like that. He makes cool recipes.
Yeah, dude, I've been pounding Dayquil Severe because I ain't playing games. Pounding NyQuil, trying to get better here. Last week, couldn't do it. Like, I would not do that to your ears because I would just be like, every 3 seconds, coughing up a storm, so I couldn't do it. But I'm back here. We're making a little clapping of the cheeks again. We're back right up in it. Don't worry. We didn't leave you. We were just sidetracked. What are we talking about today, Mr. Christian Ramey?
We are talking about I say this a lot, but obviously it's our show, so we're not going to probably pick movies we fucking hate. This is a movie Ozark and I have talked about a lot growing up. That movie is Frailty, all right?
Frailty?
Frailty. So this is directed by the late, great legend, Mr. Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton.
We didn't deserve him, dude. He's a fucking badass, all right? He's a badass.
Dude's badass.
Now, this isn't my story. But I did. Bill Paxton was on the Titanic when the planes hit the Twin Towers on 9/11. He was on, so he was real cool with James Cameron.
Okay, hold on, wait. Yeah.
And now that I heard Rob Lowe say this,
he was on the Titanic.
Yep.
When the planes hit the towers.
Yeah, so James Cameron, he made the Titanic, and then
and the movie said the Titanic.
Yeah, well, no. You remember Bill Paxton was in the Titanic, right? Yeah, so the movie had already come out, but they were still homies, right?
Okay.
So James Cameron, he has one of those little fucking weird submarines, like those little crazy ones to go down and examine the stuff.
Yeah.
Well, he agreed with Bill Paxton that they were going to have lunch. They were going to, literally park their little submarine on the deck of the Titanic, eat lunch, and that's what they fucking did. And then, when they came back up onto the other ship, brought their little submarine up, and everybody was just really somber. That's because, what was going on. They're like, what happened? Okay, what's going on?
Okay, now it makes sense, because I was going a different complete thought of what you just had said to me. But, yeah, that's fucking weird.
That's really crazy. That's like a... unbelievable. People ask, where were you in JFK? Where were you? I was on the Titanic.
In a submarine eating a ham sandwich?
Yeah, I want to know what they ate. I want to get to the bottom of that.
What do you eat at the bottom of the ocean, at the bottom of the sea?
Fish. Let them know. I'm in charge
That
here.
would be too ironic.
I'm in charge here. I'm smarter than you.
Maybe a shrimp cocktail.
Dude, I don't know if I could go down on one of those things. Like, just imagine, like, some big, like, you know, crazy.
No, dude,
I don't-
I'm telling you, you don't fuck what's underwater.
Yeah, I don't.
You're not supposed to fuck what's in the air, and you're not supposed to fuck what's underwater. You're not even supposed to fuck with some things that are on land. Like, stop fucking with shit and leave it alone. Too many people are fucking with shit. You know what I mean? Stop it.
But it was no match for Mr. Bill Paxton. Like, what was that stat? He's the only dude to get killed by, you know, the Alien, the Terminator, and the Predator. So the Predator, Alien, and Terminator all have killed Bill Paxton. Dude's a fucking legend.
Everybody hates him then, apparently.
Well, yeah, all the bad creatures. And he was in the great vampire movie Near Dark. He's just he was in Apollo 13, one of my favorite, it's not horror, but that's one of my favorite movies of all time. Just one of those people we didn't deserve. Just a fascinating guy. If you're ever bored, look into his life a little bit. But this is him stepping out, directing, making a horror movie, and I'm going to give you a little synopsis. Does that sound fair, Mark?
Yeah.
Well, before we do that, folks, I would like to say you're going to enjoy this whole show. There's not going to be a single damn advertisement, okay?
Except
for
this one.
Yeah, no energy drinks, no kind of stuff. You know what we're going to tell you? Guys, we got a Patreon, and what we do on that Patreon is we put out bonus episodes. These episodes are the same length generally as these, and they're not about movies. They're just talking about whatever, having all kinds of fun. But this is a way that we keep the lights on here. So if you guys enjoy Sloppy Horror Podcast, looking for a very cheap way to support the show, this is how you can do it. So patreon.com/sloppyhorror. Thank you. Wow. Mr. Ozark, Frailty. So we're going to give you a little synopsis here and why this is such an incredible film. So, what we have is a widowed husband here, Mr. Bill Paxton. You don't really know what happened to Mom, but she's gone.
No, she died at birth.
She died at birth. Okay, they do mention that. It's not really like a prevalent. She's just gone.
No, it's just there in one ear, out the other. It's very irrelevant.
Right. So you got 2 sons, all right? The older son, Fenton, and then you have the younger son, Adam. I would say Fenton's probably like 13, maybe 14, somewhere in that range.
I don't know. He's like 12, 13, something. I don't know.
Junior high.
Yeah.
Junior high.
Yeah.
So, and the younger brother, Adam, you know, maybe 3rd grader, 2nd, 3rd grader, somewhere in that range. And these kids, you know, granted without a mom, have a good life with dad. Bill Paxton is a great dad to them. He displays all these great characteristics. He's a hard worker. He feeds them. He's teaching them good values. And he's like this awesome, just like wholesome dad. And like for this first part of this movie, you're like, damn, bro, he's a good dad. That kind of reminds me of the dad I wish I had. Or maybe that reminds me of my dad. Or like you just have these moments of like, he's crushing it. Well, in the middle of the night, he wakes up his sons and he says, sons, I've had a meeting with God. God has showed up to me, or an angel has, mind you, and an angel has given me a list of things that we need to do, and, you know, some of them may be good, some of them may be bad, but we might have to get rid of some demons, essentially, and that's what we're going to have to do for God. And the younger son, Adam's like, bet, all right, let's do it. And the older son's like, the fuck did you just say, Dad? Like that was his mindset. Like,
he's like, what the fuck did you just say?
I'm sorry, what, Dad?
Yeah, what?
Have you been drinking? He didn't say these things, but his face said it all. So one son is very suspicious, you know, and Bill Paxton, very supporting, loving father, but very committed to this message. And he doesn't talk about it outside of to his sons, and he keeps it very to them. But when it comes down to brass tacks, he's bringing home people who he says are demons in their shed, and they got to get rid of them and kill them. And obviously a traumatic thing for a kid to see. And Bill Paxton, I don't know, man. He just, the way he is such a loving dad, but just also so religious, where he's like, he doesn't want to be like a mean dad. It's not like a Carrie situation, but the movie's funny, man. It's funny. It's just, it shows you how crazy faith, quote unquote, can drive someone if they were to let it. Like, that's not, I don't know. It's very wild to see because he's a total normal guy, and you believe that he believes this story. Like, you don't not believe that he believes it. And he's not like some like deranged psychopath. He's telling you from his heart, and you're like, yeah, this isn't good, man. So his older son Fenton really rejects the idea. Adam does not. And I guess I should have kind of precursored. At the beginning of this movie, we have a Matthew McConaughey, who is Fenton, going in to tell the confessions of his family's, dirty laundry to a sheriff or, whatever, a cop. And he's telling him this whole story. Cop is very, I don't know. He doesn't believe him all the way. Well, he's like, all right, I'll show you the bodies towards the end of the movie, only to flip the script and reveal that he is Adam, the one who actually believed the story, and this cop is one of the demons on Adam's list. So it's a fun movie. It's put together very well. And to be honest with you, I mean, there was music groups kind of assembled with the theme of this movie that Mark and I dug a lot. There's just some very cool elements behind this. And who doesn't like an axe in a movie? Like, if your horror movie has an axe, you go up a couple points for me. That's just, I'm sorry. I'm biased. Call it what you will. But I like some good axe scenes, man. And especially when there's actual deaths with them. You're like, I don't know, man. It's just brutal. I know you like some good axe scenes.
Love axe scenes. The axe, I love this axe, Otis, the axe, classic axe. I don't know if I like this axe more or the axe in American Psycho. That's a beautiful brand new axe too. But something about it, I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Just you feel. If you ever hit something with an axe, you feel good afterwards.
Oh yeah.
You feel good afterwards. Now it's a very impractical weapon. You have to be,
Although I'd be nervous. I'd be nervous.
You can't be in a battle with it, but if you got your prey all ready to go, you could do whatever. It's a good choice. But
wouldn't you be nervous if somebody's chasing you with an axe? I'd be like, look, I mean, I would run for the hills, but it's like, this motherfucker connects with this. Something's gone.
Yeah.
Something's gone.
I mean, yeah. It's a little frightening.
And it's like the mindset of like, this dude has an axe. He gives no fucks. It's just like the number one, like, I don't give any fucks. I'm going for axe murder today. Yeah. You're like, dude.
It's a very brutal death.
Yeah, dude.
It's very brutal.
Yeah, you want Jack Torrance, man. We gotta go.
That's another good axe is the Shining axe.
Oh, yeah. They're just fun in movies, dude. They're fun. And
would you say that's your favorite weapon as a horror movie, or
I don't know if I could go
that you like to see?
Well, obviously I'm kind of biased. I really like Freddy Krueger's glove because I'm a big Freddy fan. But what's interesting with Freddy's glove is not everybody within the Elm Street franchise dies by the glove. So I think if you go back in the mindset of like take a drink when somebody gets it from the glove kind of deal, it's kind of there's only a select few that have gotten it by the glove. So I really like those scenes more because it's such a cool weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, very impractical as well, but I feel like if you had it, you would get good with it. And I felt like if you came with a lot more slashes and dashes versus if you tried to stab and puncture, you'd probably fuck your fingers up. They'd bend every which way.
Yeah.
Or just jams. But you got to come in like a velociraptor. Yeah, slicing up, dude.
Take some karate and figure it out. Like, how people like punch through cylinders and shit. Like, figure that out with the glove.
This is a fun character in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I didn't really like that Mortal Kombat, really, but that was a fun character.
Yeah, it's cool to see them. They also put like Jason and Freddy in there, or Face and Jetty Freddy, and Leatherface was in there. Alien. I never used them.
What would be your axe is your favorite horror weapon? I mean, you get Amityville Horror with some axes. You get some Jason with some axes.
It's just intimidating, dude. Like it's scarier. It's like the scariest weapon to me. Like that's the one weapon I don't want to see somebody come at me with.
It's a lot of a mindset thing too for me. Like I said, it's like this man has made a choice today,
Yeah,
like,
he gives no fucks. Like you, like
this dude's ready for war.
It's fucking scary.
Because like even if he doesn't connect with the fucking sharp part, like if he turns that fucker around and hits you in the forehead with a Derek Jeter swing, lights out.
Yeah.
You're not the same person when you wake up. You're Slozark Mark when you wake up, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're not there, dog.
There's multiple ways to die from it.
Yeah, dude. Just one right to the kneecap.
Well, it's multi-purpose. You know, you can get through doors with it.
Yeah.
You know.
And you do feel like like, can you imagine, like, if all the cool firefighters and shit, like, if you were a badass that chopped down a door with an axe, and you're just like, I got you. You're like, dude, that's the manliest shit I've ever seen right there.
Dude, back when I owned a house, I had to go back there and, like, dig out roots, like, big, like, I don't know, like, the roots, tree roots, because I saw down a bunch of, like, honeysuckle trees, and those stumps were, like, the size of, like, I don't know, maybe a basketball roundness. So you had to dig down there and hit those roots out, and that took a long time, but I did it with an axe. Mm-hmm. And it was fun. Like, it sucked, but it was fun hitting something and breaking something with an axe. So
I take my son out to chop wood like Amityville Horror. I grab his little face. I'm like, you hold the fucking wood, you hear me? You don't go in my office.
I do want to do that one time, is chop wood.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Especially in front of a woman, because if a woman goes out there and sees you chopping wood, you're like,
that's the only reason I'm doing it.
they're like, oh.
I'm just going to go get pre-chopped wood and pay for it.
Oh. Just act like you chopped wood all day.
Yeah. Have a little stack there, just... You just get like an instant BJ.
I mean, why not? I mean, they do all kinds of fake shit too. Why not you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Just do it. Just go for the one time.
So, what's your favorite part of this movie, Frailty, Christian Ramey?
Now, this one's really obscure.
Okay.
Not necessarily. So, I really do love the wholesome dad-kid moments because the dad-son bond, because it makes the movie scarier. Like, if he started from the rip, like, if it was like a Carrie situation where the mom was just nutty from the get-go or the parent was crazy, you'd be like, oh, well, they're fucked up. They're asshole parents. You kind of, like, feel for this guy a little bit, but there's a scene where he's riding them to school, and they're all riding in the front of the truck, and the littler son's in the middle, and he's just, like, munching on a sandwich. And there's just this funny scene where, like, Bill Paxton just kind of, like, casually looks over, and he goes, give me a bite of that. And he's like, that's like parent-child bond. Like, I don't like, you automatically got dibs on the sandwich. The son did it, but it was just like it's so funny and obscure, but like next time you look at him, like, I don't know if that was even like a part of the movie, like, or a part of the line. It really just looked like he looked over like, that looks good. Give me a bite of that. And it's not his kid. Like, really, it's just a random kid. You're just like, give me a bite of that kid. So, I know that's so stupid, but like that's like probably like the most wholesome part. But if I'm really going like the craziest intense part, I do like at the end when they lean towards the faith, because it showed the scenes, because Adam said, I saw what my dad saw when he touched the people, because when his dad would touch the people, he kind of would get like a little flash of all the wicked shit they've done. But like when he does it throughout the movie, you're just like, this guy's fucking nuts. He's crazy. But at the end, it showed what Adam saw and his dad saw. And you're like, well, I don't know now. One was like a chomo pedo guy. One girl was like, had dead dudes fucking them for money. I don't know. Crazy stuff. But they all look like bad people. So it was really hard to tell. Like, you're just kind of left. It's total ambivalence at the end. You're just like, the ambiguity I meant to say is like just, it's like who was Michael Myers after the first Halloween? You don't really know. Like, you don't really know if it actually was, if faith is real in this movie and these were demons, or if this dad was really fucking crazy. So, like, the whole movie, you're kind of rooting for the older kid. Like, you're just like, damn, kid, get the fuck out of there. Like, this is a crazy situation. But then, like, at the end, you're like, damn, there's, like, a crazy loyalty thing. And, like, maybe they really were seeing shit, and this dude was a demon. You don't know. So, I liked the reveal. What about you, Ozark Mark?
Well, I liked the reveal, too. You pretty much, like, took it
Oh, I'm
out
sorry.
of my thing. But yeah, that, and I also liked how at the beginning of the movie, when we're going through Adam as an adult, Matthew McConaughey, and he comes in, and he's sitting there with the FBI guy, and he drove an ambulance there with his brother's body in it.
Yep.
And he called the sheriff's office, and the lady there, the clerk, said, yeah, as long as the sheriff said, as long as he brings it back, there's no hard feelings and all that. The ambulance that he stole with his brother's body in it, the sheriff said, as long as he brings it back, there's no thing. And he also says that, so then you jump all the way forward to the end of the movie when they do the reveal of him seeing stuff and how he sees all that stuff. The FBI guy goes to Adam. He's like, well, they already know it's you. There's cameras everywhere. Like, you're not going to get away with this. And he goes, well, God will protect me.
Mm-hmm.
So then you go back after all that's done, and another FBI agent goes to the sheriff's office of that town. And he has to see the sheriff. Sheriff comes out, it's Adam. Adam's the sheriff of the town, which explains how he got away with, stealing the ambulance and all that. But then you go through and they look at the security tape and it blocks out his face, and the guy can't remember seeing Adam. Like, for some reason, he just can't remember seeing him. So it makes you all believe that, yeah, this is actually real, when you were led to believe that the guy was just psycho and it's a bunch of bullshit.
I wanted to see 100 more Bill Paxton horror movies. Like, if this is what his mind that's your first go for horror, fuck, dude. Like, this is incredible. Like, and it's not just like, and I love slashers, so I'm not knocking, but it's just not even like a simple, like, hey, we're going to put somebody in a mask and kill some teenagers for these kids. Nah, dude, like, this is pretty complex. It makes you think, and, it really is believable. Like, you could see a nutty fucking parent doing this. Like,
no, like
100%.
He's got to go get the weapons. Like, he finds an axe in a barn with the light shining through.
Yeah.
And there's just regular ass gloves there. And he's like, I don't know what these gloves are for, but I guess I got to figure it out. So he just took some raggedy ass gloves that you find like at the checkout line at your local hardware store. They're crappy ass gloves. And then he finds another weapon, which is just like a pipe. It's just a pipe what he uses to knock people out. Just a regular ass pipe. Makes you believe dude's fucking nutty. But that pipe does knock him out pretty solid.
I know.
So it must be a magical pipe. I don't know. But.
You know what energy this movie embodies? This movie embodies holding the flashlight for your dad cussing with the under the hood of the car energy. Like, it just totally has that, like, God damn it, son. You're just like, before you knew how to do anything. Like, you remember when you're just like, when you're like in Christmas Vacation, where he's like, Russ, did we count all these lights? He's like, oh yeah, for sure we did. And he's like, I gotta go. Like, having to help your dad do some shit outside was like, oh my God.
I know. Now this kid, Fenton had to dig so many holes.
Bro, like, he had to dig this fucking hole that was like 15 feet deep, bro. Like, go fuck yourself.
I know, 6 feet deep or 10 feet wide or something. He had to dig all of that. Plus, he had to dig all the holes of all the bodies they got to bury in the rose garden. It's like, you had to dig so many holes.
You ever dug a hole? Dude, that was, yeah. That would have been Dad, go fuck yourself. I'm not digging the cellar for a fucking... Are you on drugs? I'm not digging a cellar by myself. Like, that would have been I can't go.
Dude, digging a hole's hard.
Dude, like, that size is of... I can't even imagine. Like, after you get to that certain level where it's just, like, clay, bro.
Well, it's probably different. Because here in Ohio, it's all clay. Like, yeah. It's different.
Bro, after you get about fucking areas. 3 feet, good luck.
I know.
Good luck. Like, it's like, I feel like, you say dig to China. I feel like under that, like, 4 inches of whatever that layer is, that's China. Like, yeah, you're in Shanghai.
It's not like digging on the beach either. People can dig holes on the beach. But that's sand. That's easy.
Yeah.
This is dirt and roots, clay, soil, rock.
Dirt.
You ever try to dig a hole and hit a big-ass rock?
Dirt, clay, soil, rock. It's what the Lord intended us to be walking on this earth.
For the Lord.
It's got the soul of my ancestors. I don't know. It might not. I don't know. You always wonder what's happened on this very land that you sit on. You don't know. This very specific spot, somebody could have got, their butt played with. You don't know.
You don't know. No, you do not.
George Washington could have been walking through Ohio territory, took a piss right where you're standing. Okay? You don't know.
Probably.
His teeth were made of wool. Would you, idiot? I get my D and my L's mixed up.
What's that from?
Big Daddy.
That's what it is. Teeth were made of wool.
That movie's still good.
It always is.
So, Mr. Ozark, Mark.
Yeah.
We do get some death in this movie. It's not like, obviously there's some murders, but it's like it's done nicely. It's I don't want to say artistically because there's some like kind of brutal scenes. There's definitely some blood on clothing. But it isn't the most brutal horror movie out there.
No, it's not. It's not very graphic. It's very implied. You get the sounds and all that, but you don't get the exact contact of it.
His son Fenton snitched his dad out to the sheriff in town, and the sheriff came over, but Dad had to kill him. And then he got sick and threw up, and he's yelling at his son I never had to kill anybody. His son's like, what the fuck? You've been killing people for months now, dog. He's like, no.
Well, those were demons.
You just don't get it, son. And then he locked them down in that cellar for weeks, bro, so he could get a vision from the Lord.
Yeah, that would suck. Oof.
Yeah. Yep. It's just can I get some internet and just a little something? That'd be nice.
Can I get a ball on a string or something? A bouncy ball?
Give me something. Can I get one of those Game Boys with the little flashlight?
Dude.
Just down in that hole playing Pokemon? Yeah, I would do that for hours. But, I don't know, just that I don't think this movie is appreciated enough for how well it is, how legendary the cast is, and how many people, once again, there's so many people that praise Bill fucking Paxton. Why isn't Frailty getting thrown into that mix? Why aren't we talking about that?
Well, we're talking about it now. And you know what else I want to talk about? I want to talk about some fun-filled facts for this fucking movie right here. So let's go into it.
Okay.
Welcome to the What Do You Know here. This is a segment here where we're here to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie here. So this is how it's going to work, okay? You already know, but some of you may not know. So this is what's going to go down. We're going to tell you things we know about this movie. Now, you may know what we know, you may not know what we know. But if you know what we know, you're going to have a wee-no-gasm. If you don't know what we know, you're about to find out what we know, and you're going to have an even bigger wee-no-gasm. So congratulations to you. You're in the right spot here. So I'm going to tell you something I know about this movie here, Frailty.
Break it down.
Break it down for you. So, in the movie, Bill Paxton, he's over here. He's drinking beers occasionally. He has a beer.
Drinking beers.
Man's got a beer. So, I like to have an occasional beer. So, they only had one beer can. Because they could only find one beer can that had that Hans beer from that time. So the can was open off screen, but they added the sound in to make it be like he was opening. It's only one beer can throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, he was drinking, what do they call it, the Ham's beer,
yeah.
And it had the little teardrop pool tab.
Added that, yeah. So, one beer can the entire movie because they could only find one. A little information for your noggin there. How do you feel about that? Whoa.
You're gonna have to excuse me as I pick up my brain matter off the back of the fucking wall here.
Yeah.
That was just too much for me.
I know. I do
Okay.
that. I do that sometimes.
My pants are wet. I don't know what happened. I
You
don't
know
what
those
happened.
shower caps?
Yeah,
Those are like head condoms. You should have wore one of those.
I really should have. Okay. Now
Yeah.
my pants are wet. I'm gonna take a long shower where I sit in there and hold my knees and cry because I don't know what happened to me. Okay.
Make sure you light an incense too to light the mood.
I will.
It will get smelly in there.
I'll be listening to sad songs. Tea's gone cold, I'm wondering why. Got it up at the door. That's what I'll be singing. All right.
I don't
Now,
think you know the lyrics to that song. Anyways, you know what? We're getting off topic here. All right, I want to learn some more things. What do you know? Tell me something that you know here.
This most famous weapon from this movie is an X, and it has a name, Otis. I mean, not often do you get, weapons that got names. But this one does, and I like that. There's something fun about that. And you wonder, how did they come to this conclusion? How did they say, hey, I'm going to name this axe Otis? How did they do that?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me?
So Mr. Bill Paxton, he says, I want this weapon to have a little bit of personality. I want people to look at this, something a little bit bigger than what it is.
Sure.
Okay?
Why wouldn't
So he
you?
wanted to give it a name. So this man, he was out scouting for filming locations in Pasadena. And he went around and he went up to this homeless guy and he gave him some money because he's a nice guy. That's just the kind of guy he was. Gives this guy some money, and this homeless guy pretty much tells him, he says, look, I'm no charity case. I don't want your money. That's fine. Bill Paxton says, well, excuse me. How about this? Let me have the rights to your name, and I'll pay you for them for this movie, and I'm going to name the axe after it. Guy's name was Otis. So, this axe is named after a homeless person that refused Bill Paxton's money until then. So there you go. That's a nice little spicy fact for your ears. So every time you're watching Bill Paxton bury an axe into somebody, you can think he's really burying a homeless person into them.
In a million years, I never would have thought if that was the reason how he named the axe Otis. That is fascinating.
That's fake, that stuff right there.
If that doesn't impress somebody, I don't know what will.
Yep. I know something a little else.
Okay.
So, this movie, they're in Texas.
Yeah.
Right? You know how they do down there.
Texas.
Well, this movie stars the three leads. They're all, there's three people from Texas here. You got Bill Paxton, obviously. Okay. I think he was a Fort Worth boy. You got Matthew McConaughey. Everybody knows he's a big Texas guy.
Texas.
Right? And then you got Powers Booth. That's the FBI guy.
Texas.
Yep. They're all Texas guys all across. So there you go. You're watching this. You got a Texas movie filled with, homeless people, weapons that only got one beer can.
And they all wear belt buckles.
What are you going to do?
Fantastic. What are you going to do here? That's a lot of great facts. That's a lot of great facts for a great movie here on a great show.
I feel better.
And a great time.
I feel better knowing.
Everybody does.
So we got anything else?
No, it's time to go now.
All right. Mr. Rozak. Now, what I think is very fascinating about this movie, Frailty, and some movies have this appeal. Now, you do get these one-and-done horror movies, and don't get me wrong, there are some great one-and-done horror movies. There are a lot of ones that, you're looking to see a scary movie. Maybe you take yourself a little, a pretty young thing out to see a scary movie. You tell her, look here, I'm a producer for a show about scary movies. I got to take you out to these. I'm going to put my arm around you. You have a fun time. But they're one-and-done horror movies, some of these. But they work for the night, She gets scared. She snuggles up to you. A couple jump scares. Boom. But do you really think about it for the rest of your life? No. It's Tostino's party pizza, like we say. Just, hey, it works for when it is. But there are these certain categories of movies where after you watch it the first time and you go back and watch the second time, it's like almost a better treat. It's like eating leftovers that are better, as leftovers than it were initially. Kind of like chili or something, And you reheat it up, you're like, oh my God.
Any garbage pizza.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, I heard that. I heard this guy. I can vouch for this. It was funny. I saw like this TikTok of this drunk dad. Somebody was filming like their drunk dad. He was like in a bar somewhere talking to this other drunk guy. He's like, I'll tell you how to reheat pizza the best way. I'll tell you right now. And it was funny. It was very relatable because this guy was funny. But he says, you just get a skillet and you put a little bit of oil. Not much, just a little bit. Just a little bit. And you put your pizza in there and you heat it up. But then after it heats up, for like a minute or two, you just take, just a little splash of water and put it in there with the lid. He says the cheese melts back down. The bottom is crispy. He said sometimes it's better. And I was like, well, that sounds fire. I got to try that.
Who the fuck comes up with this shit? How do you figure that out?
I don't know. I tried it. It takes just a couple minutes, and it is seriously very good. It's a very good way to reheat pizza. So there's that. But I feel this movie kind of has that same appeal because you go back in the second time knowing about the visions, about the way the movie concludes, about the twists. So you go in and you see more things. A classic movie like this I always mention is The Departed. I don't know. I've seen that movie 743 times, but every time I watch that damn thing, you're like, oh my God, that's the same thing from the beginning. There's these nice little touches, these little notes where it just all ties in. And it really is a very cohesive, beautiful movie in the way it does that. I think every time I watch Frailty too, you just kind of see that added little, wow, you guys really thought about this one. That's a good story. So not many movies have that kind of curb appeal, in my opinion. You get some that are great for the night and you love them for what they are. You get some that are kind of classics. Maybe you're like, I got to throw this on at this time of the year. But you get those thinker movies, and this kind of fits in there. And I don't want something too smart with not enough gore. I feel like this is a perfect, intelligent horror movie. It's just like enough to get you thinking, make you wonder. It's not a ghost and pop scare kind of thing. This is a what the fuck kind of deal. I miss Paxton. I wish he was alive now to make some horror movies. He probably would have done well in this current genre of like think piece horror movies.
I think he would have too, man. Sometimes we don't know what we have until it's gone.
I know, man. I know. I think also another kind of beautiful part about how this all ties in is I couldn't imagine, first off, like taking my kids to kill somebody, but there's a dash of humor because the younger son's with it. Like, let's fuck them up kind of deal. And at the end, when that younger one charges that guy and kills him anyways, because Fenton, he gets an axe and it was his time to kill a victim. And Dad gives him the axe, and Fenton's like kind of selling it off like he's about to do it, but he swings on Dad. Bam, kills Dad. And then Adam comes up and kills that dude that they had on the ground, the quote-unquote demon. Bro, that little kid's a fucking psycho. And he's scary, but so it kind of made it a little bit funnier. But I liked that element. There's a dash of humor in all of it. But man, what year is this sumbitch? 2002, technically. I know it says 2001 on some, but I think I started making it in 2001, but this was released in April of 2002. 9/11 fucked with a lot of stuff. We mentioned it again, but it's like it really did. I remember that time frame for movies. They had the Spider-Man Comes Home, their trailer legit, like he made a web between the Twin Towers. It's like you gotta take that down now. Yeah, we're gonna have to switch this. So there was quite a few movies, even like the Sopranos intro, if you notice in the first couple seasons, like she's like driving through New York in the opening theme, and then obviously changes in the later half. They don't show those, and just there was a lot of stuff like that with movies. Almost as similar to COVID, where somebody just hit the pause button and said, yep, not now. Rightfully so. But I'm happy movies are fucking back, man. I was telling Ozark a little bit earlier that I feel my passion for new movies is back. It was gone for a year or two. That pandemic really had me in a funk for new movies. But I liked Megan. I thought that was good. I watched Burial on Shudder. That was pretty decent. The Menu was pretty decent. Yeah,
we're starting to get, these side companies like, Shudder and Netflix are starting to get a little bit of, a little bit of capital behind them so they can start making movies of their own, so we don't have to go to the usual sources, because the usual sources are just going to keep remaking old ideas. And that's what they've been doing, because it's easier. Why not? Less work for you. You just remake shit to a new generation, and they're going to go see it, whatever, because people want to go see movies. But when you get the people here, the side guys here, really get their own opportunity to make something original, it's kind of refreshing. So we're starting to get more of these. We're starting to get some more original ideas. Now, they're all not going to be hits, of course. It's going to, if you make something original, it's going to take, you got a slim chance of it taking off and being iconic. But
you get your Terrifiers. You get them.
You get those. Every once in a while, somebody comes up with a good idea. It's hard to make an original idea because there have been so many things that have been done.
Yep. Well, the great part is the world is always changing. So that like current state of fears is always gonna change, and it might like come back. Like even like with the sickness, with the pandemic. Okay, that does great for zombies and whatever, but like that makes total sense. I don't know if you watched that movie, The Sadness, Mark, but I think maybe you remember me talking about that one.
I remember you talking about it, but no, I did not watch it.
That came out directly because of a pandemic, but it's like a zombie kind of thing. People. The body's shutting down, making them crazy with the virus. It was something that spread and infected people. It was a fearful thing at that time. So it's always going to kind of change. It's always going to be different. So that's kind of fun. I will say a quick 10 seconds about Megan. I will say, you remember that Child's Play movie that they made where Chucky was like a robot, like the last one that he made? He was more AI, and it was Mark Hamill, the guy that plays Luke Skywalker. He voiced Chucky, and it had Aubrey Plaza, super hot chick. She was the mom in it. Anyways, I love those two, and I thought the story wasn't bad. Like, I thought it was an okay movie. It was just shitty that it was Child's Play, and they were trying to ride on that coattail, because I thought an AI doll would totally work, because in this market, that works. AI shit, like, an AI toy going crazy.
Yeah, AI is going to be the new horror thing in horror come a couple years, I guarantee it.
This doll, creepy. It was granted it was PG-13, but they played on that. And I said, I think Child's Play could have did what this did if it just wouldn't have rode coattails. People are smarter than that. You can't do that. You can't give them less than what the original, or not even close to what the original was. I don't know. It just kind of sucks in that regard, but it was nice to see the new one. You should check that one out. It was a fun watch. I may or may not have watched that with my 4-year-old daughter. Well, whatever.
That kid's gonna be fearless.
She's just into it,
dude, I know you're gonna get a lot of calls from the principal.
Probably.
Just from her just doing shit, I guarantee it. But
these little YouTube channels, dude, they got Chucky and Annabelle and their kids shit.
Yeah.
They got her hip. I'm telling you, dude. She came up to me and she's like, "I know about Annabelle," and I was like, I looked at Rachel like, I
swear to God, I didn't do it.
I didn't do it.
I know, they got it in their fingertips. You had to go search it when we were kids.
Got a fucking Blockbuster.
But now, this has been, great conversation, but it's that time of the month. Not that time. I'm sorry. The time of the show where we go through the portal to rate the movie.
Sloppy horror rating, baby, yeah!
Yeah, boy. Hello there. Welcome to the 100% certified up in your ass sloppy horror podcast rating. This is the segment of the show where your favorite scary movie companion, your horror nerd himself, Mr. Christian Ramey, is going to rate this movie on a horror movie scale, not a scale in movie scale in general. So keep that in mind, but it's the famous sloppy horror podcast rating. Now keep in mind, a lower score or a high score doesn't necessarily make it a good or bad movie. Just depends on what you're looking for. That's why we got this score system. It's a foolproof system. You can't go wrong. Here we go. We're going to do this in a series of 4 categories. 3 of the categories are worth 3 points. Last category is worth 1 point for a total of
10 points altogether.
10 points altogether. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Da ding, da ba da. Boom, 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 boom. 10 points altogether. 10 points all together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get into the first category here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is casting.
I really am thinking a 3. I really am. I'm just saying, like, you got McConaughey, you got Paxton, you got Powers Booth. Those kid actors have to do good because it's easy to spot a shitty kid actor. Like, and you know, I mean that nicely because they're kids. You know what I mean? Whatever. Bless their little hearts for trying. But these kids not only sold it, they conveyed it. I don't think, like, I mean, obviously if everybody was alive, like, I don't know how much this movie now would cost to make. I mean, this is some pretty top tier. I mean, if I'm not going 3, I'm going 2.5. So I'll leave you to that verdict. But I feel like it's 2.5 or 3.
I don't know. What you just say? What do you think? Ultimately?
I'm going 3.
Okay.
This is like for a horror movie. This isn't like totally. No, this is people.
Well, I mean, most of the movie is just actors on screen. There's no budget there's no real big special effects. It's all just acting. Mm-hmm. So you really need good actors to have a full movie of acting.
Yeah, and the kids crushed it too.
Yeah, the kids did crush it. I mean, not once did I think that these kids were shitty actors. I thought they were real kids. They acted like real kids.
Act like brothers. It was
good.
Totally believable.
Now that I think about it, yeah, so it's a 3. So that's 3 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the second category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is kills.
I feel like this is the truest definition of 1.5. Because it's not just like, because we give things a 0.5 point or a 1 if there's like maybe 1 or 2 kills in it. There's a couple kills, and it's not like there's a lot of implied gore, but you 100% aware that there's like murder. It isn't like just a kind of like, oh yeah, but then that one guy fell off the building and doesn't really have anything to do with the movie. No, it very much has to deal with the movie. The whole plot of this is this dad is killing people with weapons. So. But it's not so over the top on gore with anything you haven't seen. So I feel like this is a true 1.5. The whole basis of the movie is murder, kind of, faith and murder, but not enough to really make you shit your pants. So I think like a 1.5 is fair. Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, like you said, it's based around murder. There are definitely death scenes. Most of them are implied. But there's like 4 or 5 deaths, maybe.
Yep.
And then you also imply there's a bunch of more deaths when he goes back to the Rose Garden when he's older, Matthew McConaughey, and there's like a shit ton of graves there now. So, that's good. I agree with that. That's 1.5 plus 3, so that's 4.5 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the third and final 3-point category here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is fear.
I feel like 0.5 point for this. It's not scary at all, really, but it's it keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's I'm trying to put it in the wheelhouse here of something because Sixth Sense was a little scary. Signs had its moments, but it's got that M. Night Shyamalan twisty feel to it, but not very scary because it's not a threat for you. It's a story you're very invested in for these boys, and you want to figure out what happens for them. So, like, kind of the parent and everyone, you're just like, I hope that kid gets out of there. But you aren't fearful for yourself all the way. So
no, you're more anxiety filled for the kids.
Yeah.
The murders, when the murders happen and the kids have to sit there and watch it, that strikes a little bit of fear in somebody, not most buddies, but somebody.
Yeah, frightening moments.
And there's death in it. Like the whole movie is based on murder, so you gotta give it murder's scary to somebody, and you forget how big of pussy some people are. So it's at least 0.5 point there.
Yep.
So that is 5 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the final 1-point category for 0.5 point each here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is rewatchability.
Yes, final answer.
Yeah, good answer. Good answer.
Good answer.
Good answer.
That was multiple game shows in one answer.
It is rewatchable. I've watched it many times. I'm sure you watched it many times too.
I've seen this.
Look, dude, my nose is fucked up. So some reason
I've seen Frailty many times.
I don't know why my mouth made that accent with that word, but it happened many times. So
Bruh,
I
yeah,
can't even reply it. I don't even know how to happen. So that is a total of 6 out of 10 for Frailty here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating.
Love this movie. That's a great score for it.
Great score. Okay, now you might not be in, like I said, you might not be in the mood for a 10 out of 10 horror movie. You might be in the mood for a 3 out of 10 horror movie, a 5 out of 10, a 6 out of 10, an 8 out of 10 horror movie. It just depends on what you're feeling and what kind of movie you want to watch.
I was going to throw this out to you, Ozark, and I'm sorry, to try to cut you off there. I was going to say to you, we should have certain, maybe not, awards, if you will, or badges, if you will, and we can give movies like, if I were to give this movie, I would give this movie like a great story badge. Some horror movies are just very simple story, whatever, which doesn't always take away from them. Sometimes they're still great with a simple-ass story. This was one of those that's got a great story. Like, this is a great story one. Like, if I had to give us a little sticker on it, like if you were looking through the video store and I'm trying to make it easy for you, horror movie with a great story. This is that.
Yes.
So, like, and we could think of separate badges. Obviously, like, we kind of already do this with, like, the FUBU, the For Us By Us horror movies. Like, you just get some of those horror movies that were made by pretty much horror directors or horror fans for us. Mm-hmm. Like, Return of the Living Dead, that's a FUBU horror movie. That's just for us.
That's a fun time.
That's not necessarily something Grandma's going to enjoy, but Grandma might enjoy Misery. That's a great story one. So like you
you got great story, fun time.
Fun times, yeah.
Just a straight up scary. I don't know, just scary. Like, this is going to be scary to you. Fuck you up. I don't know. I can't think of the badges right now, but
I'm gonna make like some cool decals for it. It'd be cool at the end of like the episode we could just have like the movie poster like flash up with the score on it and then like whatever little badges are on it. That's something I'll look at for maybe next season.
Badges.
Yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool.
I can create some badges. You just tell me what the badges are. I got, I'm a producer, okay? Mm-hmm. All the graphics on this show, I make all those. So I can figure something out with that.
Yeah, and I'll dive in deep too, and maybe I'll use some of you dedicated fans to help us out here, but I'll dive deep, and what we'll do is kind of like start, because there's so many episodes at this point.
Yeah, no, I kind of like.
I'll keep a log of what scores, who's our highest scores, like a place that you can go click on, see, if you're like wondering, because I get asked all the time on live, like, do you recommend some good horror movies? And I'm like, I don't mean to say it like this, because I tell people and I say, this isn't a plug, but the movies I like are the movies I cover. So, like, even if I don't give a shit if you listen to one episode of the podcast, but if you're looking for a list of great horror movies that I like to watch, go look at our list of episodes we've covered.
There's like 77-something movies up there right now,
Sure. But it'd be nice.
Just go to the Sloppy Horror Podcast page, wherever it is, iTunes, tell people iTunes, Audible, iHeart, even Pandora that nobody uses anymore, Spotify, YouTube. Like, you don't even have to click on an episode. You just can look at all of the titles.
Yeah.
What do we recommend? All of these.
Yeah, and all my YouTube watchers, you guys are because you guys can see us. Thank you so much for checking out, because I noticed the views on YouTube have been going up and up. If you guys could throw some likes on these videos, because I forget to do it too on videos I'm watching. You just watch a YouTube video, you don't think nothing of it, but it goes a lot farther for us, because if, you take one, say something's at a dozen, but it goes to, 30, the way that these platforms work is they really push us out at a higher in the algorithm. So all the love and support we get from you guys, it really doesn't go unnoticed. We wouldn't be anything without y'all. Sloppy Horror would not. So
you know what my favorite comments on the videos and stuff I like to see?
What?
Is when people quote their like favorite line of the episode.
Yes.
I love those. I also love when people share their stories about the movie, like, oh, this movie fucked me up when I was this, or I loved this movie and I watched this and that. Love seeing that.
Yes.
So keep doing that.
Yeah,
it's good to see. It's good to see, and we see all that. Don't think it don't go unnoticed. We see it.
Yeah, I feel like I hit like almost like as a lull at the end of last year. We just had a very busy end of last year, Mark and I both.
Yeah, it's kind of a fucked up end of the year. We're sorry about that, but hey,
yeah.
it's
But we still
man.
But still, like, it's not like we quit the show. It's not like me and Ozark are fighting and we're not making episodes for 9 months. That ain't never happened in our goddamn life. No, our break is 6 weeks. Like, that's nothing. Some shows take that all the time.
And we didn't even want to be 6 weeks. Like, that was like, listen, if there's not an episode out normally when there's supposed to be one, just know something's happening. All right? We're not just being lazy. Like, something's fucking happening.
But how many of these podcasts are shows where they'll give you maybe 5 episodes once a year? You know what I mean? Or they'll give you, like, some of these shows are, like, not to that point. So we always want to communicate with you guys, and you guys, we always want to pay it forward, but this is our fucking year, all right? Now, I'm not trying to sound any kind of way, but that lull last year, I know I could have went a lot harder. We both could have went a lot harder, and we're going to make this family a lot bigger. So all you group of weirdos that have made it this far into the show, I mean, we're all fucking family. We're going to keep this thing growing. But the movies are back. People care about new movies coming out. Conventions are out, and you don't have to walk in like the fucking Bubble Boy with the mask and all kind of shit and sanitize your butt crack before walking in the door. You don't have to do that shit.
Well, you should
anymore.
probably still do that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, shower like normal. If you're going to conventions, please shower. You people that don't, what the fuck? What the fuck, dude?
Anybody just anybody in general who don't shower, like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Take care of that hygiene. But
Okay.
the world is back open, and
Soap.
And Ozark, Mark, and I are here to kind of to guide you through all that horror stuff. So you got some film friends, you got some people who are looking for laughs. You guys make sure you spread the show. And I notice it in some of these little cities. We build up in clusters, and you're like, what the hell? But I know people are talking, you know?
What the hell going on over here?
What in the Sam hell is going on?
We reached 53 countries last year.
That's pretty impressive.
That's a lot of countries.
Wow, that's a lot of countries.
That's a lot of fucking countries.
Well, here we are, right in this Wildcard season. Start our new year off.
Wildcard.
Also, too, for all the people watching on this, throw some comments I want to see, or throw some recommendations our way, too. And don't say, like, well, my cousin Todd made a horror movie called Revenge of the Garbage People. And it's like, okay, that's cool. I like that. But we really are trying to cover some of the, pillars within the genre before we get into the obscure. Not saying we won't do that, but that's probably more of a Patreon thing, things of that nature. But throw the movies out you guys want us to review and check out, because we care. We care. What are you feeling next week, Ozark?
I don't know.
All right. He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
We'll figure that out when we get there, because it's the wild card season. You never know what's going to fucking happen.
Wildcard. Hell yeah. So I'm fucking psyched we finally covered Frailty, dude. What is that, a 6 out of 10? That's going on the list, baby.
Bam. It's there. It's all up in you. It's right up in your colon now, and it's going to be there for a while.
Frailty.
It's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, fucking watch it.
Yeah.
Okay,
do
it's
yourself
on,
a favor.
I think it's on HBO Max
Yeah, it is.
right now. That's where I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can always rent it. It's like $2. But watch it, enjoy it. It's a nice, like a Sunday evening movie. Curl up on the couch, watch it.
Like, we're not gonna hit the music or anything. Just off the top of your head, if like an Ozark parental rating, before we get out of here, if you were to say like what age you think, because I think you can go kind of young with this, maybe.
Like 10?
That's exactly the number I was thinking, bro.
We are synced up, and it's weird.
It's like we finished each other's sentences.
It's about to be an OnlyFans channel after this fucking camera's turned off, baby.
$1,000 a month
We're
subscription.
linked up.
Same person. Yeah, that's what's happening, Captain.
If you could have one of my features, trade features with me, one of my facial features, what would you trade?
Your facial features?
Yeah, if you could trade one of my facial features, my eyes, my eyebrows, my nose, my teeth, my lips, my facial hair, what do you want?
I like me physically,
Nah,
but
but
I'm going personality. I would go your discipline. I've always admired your discipline. You are
Okay,
very
well, that's
disciplined.
that's not the question, but all right.
Like if I was your lady, that's what I'd look at. He's so handsome because he's so disciplined. You get a very serious face. You're a disciplined guy. You're disciplined. I work hard, but I'm just like shooting from the hip, Billy the Kid. You're very methodical in what you do. That's the quality I wish. That's why you're on the show. You know.
Okay.
I can't do this just shooting from the hip. We need some structure here, man. All the structure you see comes from.
Well, that's what happens on the wild card season. You never know what's happening. Just like you never know we're about to leave right now.
I gotta go.